What's good, everybody? So, apologize for that previous one, man. It seems like we ran into some technical difficulties with the microphone, but we are here now and we are live for the Dmgaming show. So, yeah, apologize. Thank you. And y'all, today we have on tap some big news coming out of Gamestop. Me and Back Pocket talked about this the other day. That the CEO Paul Raines, he stepped down. He stepped down is what it's being reported because of medical issues. However, there were two other individuals that were let go from GameStop, and yeah, so big changes coming there. This article that I'm going to read for you is from the DallasNews.com. Maria, I can't even pronounce her last name, Halkias, Halkias. She's a retail writer for the Dallas News, and jumping into her article, it says here, GameStop on Friday said it had fired two longtime executives, Tony Bartel, he's the COO, the Chief Operating Officer, and Michael Hogan, Executive Vice President of Strategic Business and Brand Development. Listen to that. Okay. Grapevine-based GameStop said in a filing that the terminations were without cause and both will receive payments and benefits outlined in their employment benefits. So they were fired. That doesn't make sense. The filing that the terminations were without cause, it just didn't happen for no reason. Something's going on there. Something is definitely going on there. But it says, continuing, the departure comes the same week that GameStop's board promoted Michael Mahler, the chief executive officer, and Paul Raines resigned for medical reasons. The departures come the same week that GameStop's board promoted Michael Mahler to chief executive officer and Paul Raines resigned for medical reasons. Mahler has been with GameStop more than 16 years, since 2010, had been executive vice president and president of the international division. About 2,000 of the company's 7,400 stores are outside the U.S. and operate under various names, GameStop, EB Games, Micromania, and Zing Pop Culture. Raines had been CEO since 2010 until he went on medical leave in November. He also resigned from Plano-based JCPenney's board last week. GameStop board, which had a few months to consider a succession plan, is likely giving Mahler an opportunity to get to know the business that Bartel and Hogan oversaw in order to create his own team. So Mahler is stepping in, board appointed. They promoted Michael Mahler to replace Paul Raines, and Raines is stepping down for health issues. But the other two gentlemen they're gone, terminated without cause. Bartel, Hogan, and Mahler were all key on Raines' team for several years. It will be interesting to see how Mahler moves GameStop forward. Raines pushed to diversify the largest video game retailer with digital gaming and related collectible business ThinkGeek was acquired and collectibles were expanded online and in GameStop stores. GameStop also went into other retail businesses. Since the company already has strong real estate and store operation staffs, Reigns believes those back offices could be put to work more broadly. GameStop purchased the largest authorized Apple retailer, Simply Mac, and became the largest AT&T store operator under Reigns. Bartel also had been chief operating officer since January of 2015, and before that was president of GameStop for 5 years. He came to GameStop from NCH Corp and previously was at PepsiCo and Yum Brands. Hogan was in his current job since 2012 and joined GameStop in 2008 as senior vice president and chief marketing officer. He previously had been at Dean's Foods and Frito-Lay. And that's the end of the article there. And I'm already going to tell you this. If you don't see a problem with what I just read, you know, and if you don't see a problem with that, what I just read about GameStop, about those individuals, then maybe you're not understanding why I feel that GameStop is missing the mark when it comes to gaming. Okay. So first of all, I mean, I don't know a lot. I don't know these individuals personally. When I worked at GameStop, these individuals were there. However, I can't see this working out in the right way. It's like this, man. These people are, and anyone that worked at GameStop can relate. The higher up you get in GameStop, it seems like the less amount of people who actually care about gaming, in a sense, you know. And I hate to say it like that, but I mean that's the truth. It is what it is. I mean, these people, you have the managers, they care about gaming. I don't know if it's because the higher up you go, the less you're able to actually play gaming. But Nick can relate to this, and he can tell you, when the higher up you go, there's not a lot of people that actually play games or even care for games. I mean, yeah, they're listing these gentlemen's professional backgrounds in, you know, the food industry, PepsiCo, Frito-Lay, and stuff like that. I mean, but can you really do what's best for gamers when you're not even, in a sense, giving gamers the opportunity to have someone to lead a store for gamers who's not even interested in gaming, you know? Now, that lets you know one thing right there, that they aren't there for gaming. They are, I mean, and this is a business, so don't get me wrong. They are there for money. They are there to make this company, GameStop, money. They are there to do that and just that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not my issue. My issue is they don't really care for gaming. They don't care for gaming. They don't care for the gamers. If they did, they would implement things that would please gamers. GameStop has taken so many gut punches to the stomach. Are their stocks falling and things like that? Yes and no. They do fall, but they do good at times as well. They're still in business for a reason. And here's the thing. I think that if GameStop had actually catered to the gamers, they probably wouldn't have had to take on other things such as ThinkGeek and collectibles and cell phones and stuff like that. I mean, that's something to consider. Now, those things aren't bad. They can be very good. I'm not doubting the influence of that at all, but they don't, I mean, that's just it. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, but they don't care about the gamers, you know? Now, with them being out, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with stuff such as Circle Life and things like that. With Mahler working under Reigns, I mean, he may just continue where Reigns left off. You know, he could just continue doing those things. I don't know. I would like to think that he would change some stuff, but you never know. I mean, you can't expect someone to change something having worked under somebody, but at the same time, there's been a lot of people who's worked under people who may not necessarily agree with certain business practices that they have and things like that. So we got to be mindful of that as well. It's tough right now with them because, like I said, you don't know, man. You just don't know. For those of y'all just joining in or listening in at the podcast, you can follow us on Twitter at Dmgaming5. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel. Watch us on YouTube at www.youtube.com/C/DMgaming06. And yeah, man. So if you're just joining us, we're discussing GameStop and some of the big changes that are happening with the removal of two gentlemen of GameStop and the resignation or the stepping down of another from GameStop. And I'm seeing that I'm seeing now, y'all, we had some technical difficulties earlier. It doesn't seem like it's showing up on the live feed from YouTube. So if you may have to watch this from the actual Spreaker website, which no biggies there. The show must go on. So back to the topic that is now on hand. Circle of Life. For those of y'all that don't know what the Circle of Life was, the Circle of Life consisted of various things. And it was employee based. It was really for us, the employees, not so much for you, the customer. But it had an influence with trades, with new sales, pre-owned sales, collectibles. I mean, it encompassed everything that we were to do at GameStop, and everybody had a score. You had a Circle of Life score in a sense. Now, if you don't remember, GameStop took some slack a while back about this, and they said that they changed it, that they basically did away with it, but that was a lie. Yeah, that was a lie. They didn't do away with it. What they did was, before it was based off each individual person. Each individual person had a score, and those scores accumulated into a score for the overall store that you were at. So how did they change it? Well, they basically just said, well, you don't have individual scores anymore. You have a overall store score. And anybody with common sense can sit there and say, okay, if they have a cumulative score, how is that cumulative score calculated? You guessed it, by individual scores. So we would have these printouts every, you could print it out every so often. We normally did it like once a week or something like that. No, we did it every day. It was a printout that when I came in, I was an assistant manager there. I would print out this piece of paper that would have all of our statistics on it. For each individual person, and each of us had a score still on the paper. And I remember asking my manager there at the time. He was a really, really cool guy. I'm not bashing ours. We had a really good store. I liked the manager. I liked the people that I worked with. We had a really good relationship. My issue was with corporate. But anyway, I asked him, I said, so if we're doing a cumulative score and the store score is what matters, then how basically, and I'm already knowing the answer to this, but I'm asking to see where his mind is at. How basically do we continue to make sure that each individual person is pulling their weight? Because, if this person's not doing good, then our cumulative score won't be doing good. And y'all, long story short, nothing changed. Nothing changed. If my score was low, for instance, I would be talked to about getting my score up because it would affect the entire store. Now, one thing that they did add something to the Circle of Life as far as the employee stuff is concerned, and that was net sales. They made net sales a part of the Circle of Life. And the reason that they did this was, from our standpoint, so that it would kind of counteract if an employee didn't do so well in other departments. So that's basically what they did. I don't know if Nick wasn't there whenever this happened. Back Pocket Game Reviews, he wasn't there when this happens, but I'm sure he's very much aware of it. They added net sales, because before we could always see our net sales. You could see how much merchandise, how much in dollars you sold that day. And it wasn't counted against you, and it didn't count for you. You know, they were more concerned with things like pre-owned sales, pre-orders, definitely pre-orders, and things like that. Pre-owned and pre-orders, I say, were the top two. In trades, that's the top three, and then new sales really wasn't that big of a factor, simply because GameStop doesn't make a lot of money percentage wise off of new sales. And so they added net sales to the circle of life in a sense. And what that did, that counteracted, it counterbalanced, say, if an employee didn't do so well in pre-orders and things like that. And so what it did, it actually helped to boost their scores so that the stores would maintain a somewhat higher level of score when it comes to the circle of life. And so those employees who were really concerned with it, really stressed about trying to keep their numbers up, didn't have to stress so much about it. And GameStop kind of, I figured they hoped that something like that would keep people from doing the shady stuff that got this stuff sent out into the media in the first place, y'all. But I'm going to take a quick break, y'all. And when I come back, we're going to talk about the percentages and how the percentages worked for the circle of life, so you could better understand what I'm talking about here. It's the DM Gaming Show, y'all. Be right back. All right, y'all, we back for the DM Gaming Show. I am your host, Mr. Andre Dorsey, a.k.a. Mr. DM Gaming himself, y'all. And back to the topic that is now on hand. So GameStop, y'all, like if you're just tuning in, GameStop is going through some stuff right now in the higher up department, the executive department, where they are the CEO, Paul Raines, stepped down because of medical reasons. And they actually had to let go of the COO as well as another gentleman. And Mahler is stepping in to take Paul Raines' place. Now, before we left for the break, I was discussing the circle of life and how that plays a factor, and how GameStop basically just changed up some words to make it appear that the circle of life was no longer prevalent. Because what was happening was you had employees pushing pre-owned and selling pre-owned instead of new just to keep their numbers up, to keep them from getting in trouble. And people did get in trouble about the circle of life score. I mean, it's retail. At the end of the day, it's retail. Now, y'all know me at DM Gaming. We see both sides of the spectrum. You know, you have to, in order to completely understand the situation, you have to see it from all sides. So from GameStop's side of it, it's retail. They're, at the end of the day, it's a business. They are there to make money. If you are not selling certain products, you are not making them money. So that raises the question, why does GameStop push pre-owned sales so much? The answer is simple. That's where they make their money. I mean, I think we pretty much all know that, right? Right? Yeah, we all know that. So with the old circle of life, people were selling pre-owned games when customers were asking for new games. Now, this stuff wasn't going on at every location. It really wasn't. It for sure wasn't going on at ours. The store that I was at, we did awesome. I mean, our numbers were up, always up. We were always top in the region and things like that because of our sales and stuff like that. And I mean, so we sold people whatever they asked for, new, pre-owned, whatever, you know. But there were some stores that struggled. Employees struggled to meet numbers. Mind you, the numbers weren't like unattainable. At least not at our location. I don't know how it was at other locations, but where we were at, our numbers weren't unattainable. It was simple to hit. GameStop did end up closing a bunch of stores, and people thought that was because GameStop was doing bad, but it wasn't. It was actually in the business plan to close certain stores in certain locations and open up stores in other locations. So it's basically a transference of stores, because in some locations, they just didn't have the people to do well in that area. For instance, where we were at, there were plenty of people to get plenty of sales. I mean, we were the only video game store in town. There were actually 3 GameStops within a 10-mile radius of the GameStop that I was at. That was the one where I was at. There was one inside the mall, which was literally like 3 miles down the road. And then there was one on Arkansas side, because I'm in Texas. There was one on Arkansas side that was about 5 or 6 miles down the road. Like, they were literally that close to each other. It was not far from each other at all. Well, it was probably more than 5 miles. No, it was probably about 5 miles. But anyway, and then there used to be another one about 4 miles in another direction. There used to be 4 down here where I'm at. But now there's just 3, and yet and still, those stores are still very, very successful. Of course, the one in the mall, it's going to do well because it's in a mall. So during the year, it's not going to do well, but during holiday season, they're going to rack up. That's where they make GameStops that are in malls. That's where they make their money, is during the holiday season, and they definitely do that. But anyway, so the Circle of Life, the numbers weren't set outrageously high. I mean, the numbers were very attainable if you just followed the protocol and did your job. It worked for me very well. I mean, I guess some people have a knack for it, some people don't, and you can push and sell product, pretty much without being a jerk to people, without misleading people or anything. Like, I liked my manager that I'd had, because when he came, I told him when I was in the interview process all the negative stuff I heard about GameStop, and he said, "Trust me, we're different here." And he wasn't lying. I mean, he told me, hey, he told all of us, hey, if a game sucks, don't try to push a customer on that game. Let them know. Hey, if a customer's going to buy this game, what do you think about this game? If it sucks, let them know it sucks. He was all about honesty, and it worked for us because people not only trusted us with our advice and stuff like that, and it showed in numbers because we always met our metrics. I mean, and that's one thing that gamers appreciate. We appreciate somebody that's honest to us. If I'm putting out a review on a game, I'm not going to tell you that game is good just for the sake of reviews. If it sucked, I'm going to tell you it sucked. You get what I'm saying? So now, understanding how pre-owned works, or why GameStop pushes pre-owned, you have to understand their percentages. Now, GameStop doesn't make money on new products. They do. It's like 5% off of new games and new hardware, like selling consoles and stuff like that. However, in pre-owned, I think the number is more around 90%. It's not 100%. And I wonder that. I question that. I remember asking my district manager at the time, why is it not 100%? Or but obviously funds go to other places and things like that. However, no money goes back to the developer. And that's what I was talking about with Madden, y'all. If you don't like Madden, then yeah, Chris joins the chat. Chris said GameStop shady in their practices. Yeah, they were. They really were. It was shady. Well, actually, I'm gonna touch on that, Chris. After I take the next break, I'm gonna touch on that whenever we get back. But anyway, and for y'all that want to join in on the chat, if you go to our Twitter page at Dmgaming5, click on the link. It should be the first tweet that we tweeted out, and just follow that link. It'll take you straight to the page where you can join in the chat and stuff like that on Spreaker. I don't know if you have to do an account or not. You probably do, but it's free, so join in. But anyway, so GameStop makes about 90 to 95% off of pre-owned sales, which that money does go to GameStop. And that's really how they stay in business, through trade and pre-owns. It's not bad. I mean, so technically you look at it like this. If you were in business doing something, because like I said, we have to look at it from different sides. If you were in business to do something, you're going to lean towards what keeps you in business. And we see this all over the gaming industry, like games with Madden, for instance, how they lean so heavily towards MUT because MUT brings them money. It's kind of what keeps their head above the water in a sense. But like I said, new product was like 5%, somewhere in there. And pre-owned was more like 90 something percent. And then, of course, you had like the memberships, the pro cards and stuff, in which they now have a pro elite. And we'll touch on that a little bit later. But percentage wise, they made their money on pre-owned, which everybody knows that. So, of course, they're going to push trade, which was a bigger issue in itself because people felt like they weren't getting enough for their trades. And I can understand. I can understand that to a certain degree. For instance, if a brand new game just comes out today and it's $59 before taxes, and I buy that game brand new and I trade it in a week later, I shouldn't get like $20 for it. Now, GameStop has been doing a little better with this because if you trade a brand new game in, depending on the game, AAA titles definitely, if you trade those games in within 30 days of it coming out, the trade credit jumps to, I think, $30. But in order to get that, there is a catch. You would have to, it's up to 30. I would assume you have to have a pro card or a pro elite membership. I'm not sure if it works like that if you don't have a membership, because sometimes they do advertise $30. So it could just be a flat rate of 30 no matter what your status is. But then that wouldn't make sense in far as being a pro member, because you should always get more for your trade. You get what I'm saying? But anyway, so they are doing a little bit better in that department. But here's one thing people have to realize. If I buy a car and I drive that car off the lot and then I turn around and try to trade that car in, I'm not getting nowhere close to what I paid for that car. Well, it's up to the dealership. It's up to the dealership. I think if you bought a car and you drove it for a week and went to trade it in, they're going to try to lowball you. They really are. When in all actuality, they're going to buy it and sell it, make a profit. But here's the thing, because there are people out there who want a car with 0 miles. Just like there's people, we literally had customers who would come in and would not buy a pre-owned game. It had to be brand new because they have had so many issues buying pre-owned games in the past. You just have people like that. And they're not going to pay whatever for it. But that's the thing. GameStop would take a game, you would trade it in, get 20 something bucks for it, even if it just came out. And then they would turn around and sell it for $5 less than what it was brand new, And so you had people that were upset in that instance. Why should I pay this much for a game that somebody else has played? I think a good number, if you're trading in a pre-owned game, if I'm paying 50 something bucks for, I think $30 is fair. I think it's fair. It's less. It's a little bit more than half, considering the 59 to 60. You can look at it as half, whatever. But I think that's fair because, you got the game, you played it. It's pre-owned at that point. I can understand that. So I wasn't upset. I don't get upset so much about the trade-in credit at GameStop. Now, where my problem comes in, like I said, is when they turn around and sell it for $5 less than what it was brand new. But at the end of the day, I understand because, like I said, it is a business at the end of the day, and they are there to make money. And that's how GameStop makes the bulk of its money, is through pre-owned sales. And that's why they push for trade-in so much. So, y'all, we're going to take a quick break. And when I come back, I'm going to address Chris's comments here about GameStop's shady practice. So, y'all, it's the DM Gaming Show. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all, we are back at the DM Gaming Show. This is your host, Andre Dorsey, with DM Gaming. So Chris, I got to get to his comments because Chris has commented, and we can't leave Mr. Chris out because he's a huge supporter. We can't leave anybody out, y'all. So feel free to follow us on Twitter at Dmgaming. Tweet us, ask us questions. We will talk about those things on the show. The next show will be on YouTube, y'all. I'll probably do a show this evening. Why not? What do you think? That way we can get a live show in where this is live, but we can get it live on YouTube where more people can actually get involved in the comments like we used to do back in the day. But as far as shady practices, does GameStop have shady practices? I guess what people think shady practices would be in the sense of like I was talking about with trade-ins and stuff like that. That's, to me, that was the biggest argument that people would have. Not getting enough for their trades. And then, like I said, too, a pre-owned game costing a lot of money. Y'all, it's business. At the end of the day, it is business, and they set it up for them. They set it up for them to work. Chris just commented, it would be awesome if this was sponsored by Hershey's Gold Bar. And you know what, Chris? I thought about making a little thing like that, but I want to wait till Hershey says, hey, we'll go for it. Because if I do it now, it's just free advertising. You get what I'm saying? But I digress. Hershey, holla at your boy, man. I'm telling you. Let me go ahead and practice. So if y'all haven't tried the new Hershey's Gold Bar, go try it. It is delicious. You will not be upset. It's not caramel, even though it says it's like caramelized. It's talking about the color. It's creamy. It's rich, but not too rich. The peanut butter flavor pairs well. You get the crunch of the pretzel. For instance, if you like Nestle Crunch, you like those little Rice Krispies in there, the little crunch it gives, you'll love this bar because there's little bits of pretzel in there that gives it a little bit of crunch. It's awesome. Go try it out. Tell them Dmgaming sent you. Hit them up on Twitter at Hershey's and say Dmgaming sent me here. Y'all need to get that man on the payroll or something like that. You get what I'm saying? Get him on there and make something happen. Yeah. But shady business practices from GameStop, do they really have them? In my opinion, no. But y'all, I have a business mindset because I've worked management for so long. I understand management because here's the thing. If you go and purchase a pro membership, which is literally $15 for the entire year. Now, are the perks good? Let me tell you something. This is what I would tell people about the pro membership. I would tell them, look, if you're only going to be in here for a couple of days, like literally, y'all, the pro membership being $15 a year literally pays for itself even if you shop on Christmas. If you was to come in and just shop on the holidays, you would save more than $15 on that if you bought pre-owned. That's the catch. You need to buy pre-owned. So is that shady? I don't know, man. To me, when I look at my savings for the year, I've saved a ton of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico, if you get what I'm saying. I've saved a lot of money by using my pro card. And that's the thing. If you use it, yeah, you're going to save money. And that's the thing. But if you're not a person that shops at GameStop often, it can still benefit you because then it gives you access to pro days. And then you'll also, during the holidays, you can save a ton of money as well. So it is something to consider. But like I said, it's really, I'm going to be honest with you, it's really for those individuals who buy games a lot like myself. Because right now, y'all, I'm probably going to GameStop this week to pick up a couple of pre-owned games. And I'm going to save me some good money because I actually have the upgraded pro card that gives me extra percentage off and things like that. Now, my issue with this, and I don't want to stray too far off topic because we've strayed pretty far in a sense. I'm giving you some background. With a new CEO and a new COO and a new other person that position he had that I can't remember, y'all, could we see them implement something along the lines of what Best Buy has? Now, GameStop was at one point going to do a rental program, but that flopped. They tested it out, and it was like, this ain't going to work. But Best Buy Gamers Pass is pretty sweet, man. Now, here's the thing that people have to realize about stuff like that, because they look at that and they say, well, why can't GameStop do this? It's about money, man. Best Buy makes a lot of money. Best Buy sells more than just video games. And I know you're going to say, but GameStop sells collectibles. Look at the clientele base for GameStop as opposed to Best Buy. There's a larger client base for Best Buy because they sell so many different products, music, movies, games, computers, drones, like everything. So there's a larger client base, that's more money. That's why you see bigger stores on Best Buys than you do in GameStop. So with more money, they're able to do more things. GameStop, could they do something like that? I don't know. I think that if they did, they would take a loss starting out. But it could rebound and bring them a lot of profit. Because right now I feel like this. GameStop getting a new CEO is the equivalent of EA getting a new game manager over the publishing company EA. Like that spells maybe good news for the series as well as it would for GameStop, because a new person means new changes. You see what I'm saying? Those individuals who were terminated for a reason. If things were going peachy, they would not have been there. I don't know. Maybe GameStop, the board is saying, look, we need to go in a different direction. We need to go and follow the listen to what the people are saying. But at the same time, y'all, that board is there to make money. If the company is not making money, they're not trying to hear it. And what Paul Raines did, he actually brought a lot of money to GameStop with these different expansions into the phone industry, as well as the collectibles through Think Geek and stuff like that. They have a lot of affiliates. They've purchased a lot of companies. But I'm hoping, and we're all crossing our fingers and praying, that maybe the new CEO will come in and bring some more power to the players. I'm surprised somebody hadn't sued GameStop for false advertisement, because power to the players, it doesn't seem that way. And Chris, like you said, it does come off as shady, but it's a business tactic that a lot of businesses use. It's like, hey, you want to say you can pay regular price of $54 for that pre-owned game, or for $15 a year, you can get those same games that were normally $54 for about $49. Now, y'all, that does make a difference. It does, especially when you're buying stuff, getting points, and you're able to get coupons off. I'm going to tell y'all something, and I might do a separate video on this, how to work the system at GameStop, because everything has a system. And if you play your cards right, you can work that system to work out in your advantage with your trade-in points and stuff like that. Y'all, there have been times when I have literally got several games for little next to nothing because I've worked the system. And this was before I started working there. But when I started working there, I really understood the system. So better believe that video is coming out soon. But we just have to learn how to do that. You have to learn how to work the system, y'all. But I'm interested to see what they are going to implement next at GameStop. Will this be the turnaround point for them? Will they look at places like Best Buy and say, you know what, we need to do better? One thing that I wish that could happen, because, GameStop did get into the digital gaming market with Paul Raines leading that. One thing that I'm interested to see what happens. Number one, how are they going to treat their employees? Are they going to do away with the circle of life? Every retail has some kind of statistic managing system. GameStop's is just called the circle of life. And can I be honest with y'all? The circle of life wasn't bad. I don't know why people or former employees were complaining about it. The circle of life wasn't bad. Like, I don't know, maybe it was just the client base that we had, but if you just followed the rules and had a good strategy in place, it was good. If you give people what they want, the people will take care of you. The hardest thing to do was to get pre-owned. Not pre-owns, pre-orders. I mean, we got tons of trades. Pro cards, it was easy selling pro cards, because if you understand what a pro card does for you and convey that to the customer, it's an easy sell, because I love my pro card. I use it all the time. You see what I'm saying? And I get the benefit of that. And plus, like I said, we were honest to people. If they were only going to be in there maybe once a year, I would let them know, look, if you come in during the holidays and buy 4 of these pre-owned games like you're doing right now during the holidays, you'll already cover that. A lot of those people got pro cards for free because they traded in so much stuff, so being honest with the customer and stuff like that. And we build a lot of trust in that community. So when we advise something, hey, this game right here, you might want to pre-order. It's going to be pretty good. And then too, explaining pre-orders, because y'all, I'm going to have to do a video on that because we don't have enough time today to talk about that. But people get pre-orders way mixed up. It's really ridiculous. The way that people, I'm not pre-ordering it. when they say that, y'all, they're talking about through like places like PlayStation Network and Amazon and stuff like that, places where you have to pay up front. Because at GameStop, if you pre-order something and you don't like it, guess what? You can just come back and take your money back. You can get your money back. I do it all the time. If I don't like a game, I say, hey, can I move that pre-order to this? Or if I'm going to pick up a game, I say, can I cancel that and put that towards this? You can do those things, y'all. But like I said, we have to talk about that another day because we don't have time to talk about it right now. And this is not about pre-orders. This is about GameStop and giving the power back to the players. So will Mueller come in and give the player the power back? I don't know, y'all. It's going to be very interesting to see. I don't know if they'll continue to let the stuff that's already running run on through their fiscal year, or will they go ahead and let them start implementing new changes? And the other important thing is, who is he going to bring on to assist him? Who is going to be his COO and stuff like that? That's going to be very important to pay attention to as well. I'm definitely going to be keeping my ear to the ground. I'm talking lower than a pregnant ant's stomach, if you feel what I'm saying, y'all, because I'm interested to find out how this is going to affect GameStop. I still have friends that work there. I wonder how this is going to affect them with their jobs and stuff like that, because it was strict enough at one point that if you weren't hitting your numbers, that they let you go. But guess what? What retail job you work at that where if you're not hitting numbers, they let you stay? None. So people bash GameStop, the employees are, well, this is no, man. It's like that wherever you go. Like right now, y'all, if you go work at a retail place, you're going to have numbers to hit. And if you don't hit those numbers, good luck keeping a job. It's like that anywhere where numbers are concerned, even selling cars and stuff like that. So, you know, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, and if you're a GameStop employee listening to this, listen to my advice. Be honest with the people. Build trust and a relationship with the people, a genuine one, not a fake one. Not a fake relationship like I had to do in the car dealership. A genuine relationship with the people, because if you love gaming, they're gamers just like you. So that'll work. We'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back, y'all. And guess what? We're going to have to go because that guy's here to work on my AC, man, and I got to get that fixed. Y'all know we keep it real. We don't hide nothing around here. That's who was knocking on the door in case you heard. But tune in next time, y'all, because we out of time anyway. So tune in. I may do a show tomorrow. I'll try to squeeze one in tomorrow. I'll let y'all know on Twitter. Just follow us at Dmgaming 5. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Till next time, thanks for listening, and God bless. I'm out. Peace.